Should you come to China? That is the question I'm going to be answering in today's video. So I have traveled pretty extensively across this massive country now. I've been down in the south to Shenzhen, I've been to Shanghai a couple of times, been to Beijing, I've been to Xi'an, been out west into Xinjiang, and I've also been to Chongqing now, which is where I am today making this video. So I feel I'm reasonably qualified to talk about this topic. So today I'm going to share with you 5 things that you should know before deciding to come here to China. So the first thing that you should know before coming here is that China is not the easiest place to travel. What I mean by that is, it is not like going to Europe or America or even Japan, where you turn up, people speak English, well maybe not in Japan, but definitely the other 2 places. Your bank cards work as normal, your phone works as normal, everything feels relatively familiar. China is not like that. When you get to China, no one is going to speak English. Even in the airport, there is a language barrier. You won't be able to pay with your bank cards that you usually do back home, and you'll notice if you don't prepare, your phone will not work as it usually does. In China, you don't tap your card when you pay. Everyone here pays with their phone using one of 2 apps usually, Alipay or WeChat Pay. It's not easy to do, but it takes a while to get the hang of if you've never done it before. So before coming to China, you need to make sure that you install apps like this and link your card. Otherwise, without it, you're going to be stuck not being able to pay for stuff, or you're going to be forced to use cash, which is something that's not very common here. Also, the Chinese internet is behind what is known as the Great Firewall of China, meaning that websites we're used to back home, such as Google, social media such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all don't work here. So if you want to still be able to access these websites and things when you're in the country, you will need to download what is called a VPN before coming here. Not difficult, but something you need to know. Now my second point is that as a foreigner, you are going to receive a lot of attention here in China. It's not bad, it's usually just out of curiosity. People will stare at you, people will come up to you and say hello, people will want to take pictures with you. Because you've got to remember that until 25-30 years ago, China was a very poor country and was basically closed off to the rest of the world. It's only been relatively recently that it has opened up. So for a lot of people here, they never used to see foreigners, so for them it's a novelty. But don't let that put you off the attention, because you're likely to meet some amazing people out of it. For example, the other day I was in a restaurant having hot pot here in Chongqing, and this family came up to me and wanted to speak to me, took pictures with me, and then they ended up showing me around the city for a whole day. So once you get to know Chinese people, you will experience hospitality like nowhere else in the world, I promise you. Well, there you go, what happened there just literally proved my point. A young gentleman approached me on the street, wanted to talk to me, and he subscribed to me on YouTube. So yeah, come here, don't be afraid of the locals, they're lovely people. It's kind of interesting to note, the 2 most badly talked about countries in the West, I suppose Russia and China, also the 2 countries where I felt the most welcomed by the locals and received the most amazing hospitality. So it just shows you that, you know, what you hear on the news isn't always true. There's great people everywhere, and don't let that stop you coming to a country like China. Now the next point I want to make is China is absolutely huge. There might be one stereotypical image we have of China back home, but that is only just represents one part of it. It's a massive country. It's probably the size of, or maybe slightly bigger than the European continent, but it's one single country. China is a mix of tropical rainforests, deserts, mountains with snow, beaches, huge cities like here in Chongqing, and basically anything you can imagine in between. This also means that there are a range of different cultures here. The food is different depending on the region, so it's a fascinating place to go and just see how one country can be so diverse. Just for an example, where I am here in Chongqing today, it is 40 degrees. It's too hot for my liking. But earlier this year when I went to Urumqi in the northwest in Xinjiang, we had -15. This also means that the distances here are huge, and there is no way you'll be able to see the whole country in one visit. It's just too big. Now my next point I want to make is that China is incredibly safe. I can walk around here with my phone out late at night, no problems. I don't have to, despite how crowded it is, I don't have to worry about pickpockets or stuff being stolen. No one's going to hurt me on the street. Now this might sound like a normal place, But in some places today that tourists go, especially Western Europe, cities like Barcelona, London, Paris, it is not as safe as it used to be. The reasons as to why we'll not get into, but basically you have to look over your shoulder. I know people who've been pickpocketed in these places. I myself had my phone stolen in London last year. It was an absolute nightmare. But this sort of stuff does not happen in China. Why? Well, there's a number of reasons why. Maybe one of them is because there are security cameras everywhere. There's probably about 5 just behind me there. Slightly controversial. Some people say it's an invasion of privacy. Some people say it keeps it safe. For a regular tourist like me and you coming here, if you're not planning to do anything wrong, I don't see why it should bother you too much. And the last point I want to make is that China is incredibly affordable. Despite all this modern developed infrastructure, China's prices to me seem comparable to going to somewhere like Thailand, maybe slightly more expensive. But you can very easily go out to a local restaurant, have a really good meal for $4 or $5. You can get a really nice hotel for not much. Taxis are cheap, the metro is affordable. So you can experience a level of comfort here without breaking the bank. You get to experience first world infrastructure comparable to Western Europe, America, Australia, maybe even better in some aspects, but for much better prices. So China is not just great in all the other aspects, but it's also very affordable. So hopefully this video has been somewhat helpful. I'm actually leaving China tonight, going back to Sydney. I don't know when I'll be back here. I definitely will be at some point. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this China series and this video, make sure to subscribe so that I can keep making more stuff like this. And I'll see you again soon for my next adventure.